Get positive, how's it going, everybody? Got for you guys today another Wi-Fi battle, and thank you to everybody who showed the amazing support to my previous Wi-Fi battle. Much like that one, guys, if we can get this one up to 300 likes, that would be absolutely amazing, and I would definitely make sure to keep these Wi-Fi battles coming out regularly for you guys. But yeah, if you guys missed my previous Wi-Fi battle, a link to that will be at the end of the video most likely, or there should be one down in the description if you guys want to go check it out. And today's battle is going to be against one of my good friends. His name is GameboyLuke. Some of you guys may know who he is, and I just want to say right now, there is a very valuable lesson to be learned in this battle, so make sure to stick around for the entire battle, because you're not going to want to do what happens in this battle. But yeah, also, the reason why I have Doublade on my team is because this was taken before Doublade moved up to RU, so don't be like, oh, Leo, Doublade is RU now, why are you a cheater? No, I know that, I know, Doublade is RU now, but yeah, this was before I moved up. Anyways, going into the battle, I was honestly not really worried about anything on Luke's team, just because I knew that as soon as I got up Stealth Rocks, I would be in an automatic advantage throughout this entire battle. So I'm going to be leading off with my Seismitoad, as he's going to be leading off with the Electrode. Right off the bat, I predict him to actually go for the taunt and not go for like the Hidden Power Grass or something along those lines. And I go for the Scald. I guess I could have gone for the Earthquake, but I also thought he might have wanted to switch into his Uxie, as he switches it in this turn on my Earthquake. I should have Scalded again. I really wanted to Scald again, but that was a dumb play on my part. As I switch into my Shift Tree this turn, I do predict him to just want to go for these Stealth Rocks, and now I'm in a position where I can honestly just safely go for the knockoff without fearing anything that he wants to do, as he ends up switching directly into his Electro, which I found to be a little bit odd, but I mean, nothing else on his team really switches in, and with me having Seismitoad, Electrode really wouldn't come in too handy, so I guess it isn't too big of a deal that he foddered that off, as he now gets a free switch into the Swallow. I was honestly fearing the fact that this Swallow could have Quick Attack, which is why I didn't leave in my Shift Tree to go for the Sucker Punch, as Luke makes an excellent play and he predicts me to switch out, and he's going to end up going for the U-turn. This unfortunately does now allow him to get a free switch into the Typhlosion, and I was very weary about switching directly into my Seismitoad, but ultimately I decided to make the play just because I knew that it was way too obvious and early in the battle to make a crazy prediction like him predicting me to bring in Seismitoad and then him going for Hidden Power Grass. So ultimately I knew the safest switching would be my Seismitoad, as he does way too much damage with that Eruption, so that automatically tells me that he is indeed Choice Specs, as I will not be able to get up my Stealth Rocks, which means I have a very good advantage in this battle. Now I am kind of fearing that this Uxie could possibly have the knockoff or the Toxic, something along those lines, so I'm going to end up switching right into my Doublade, also thinking that he might want to go for the U-turn, thinking that I would bring in my Shift Tree, but he ends up going for the safe Psychic, and I don't want to switch out because I do have the Shadow Claw, and I just want to start getting off chip damage on this Uxie, so when I do bring in my Shift Tree, my knockoff will be an Oko. Unfortunately though, I get fully paralyzed the first turn, as he ends up going for the Psychic, which does a decent bit of damage, I suppose, and this Shadow Claw does not do anywhere near as much damage as I thought it would do. Uxie is a whole lot more bulky than I thought it was, so I'm going to take this chance to switch directly into my Shift Tree, predicting him to just want to go for another Psychic, just because if he gets rid of my Doublade, that Swallow can honestly just come in and wreck my entire team, so I have to try to keep that at as much HP as possible, as I'm going to go for the knockoff. Unfortunately I get a crit, but I honestly don't know how much that crit ends up playing a role, or if it really actually mattered, as I'm able to knock out the Uxie. He's going to bring in the Swallow again, fearing the fact that he could possibly have Quick Attack. I'm going to switch directly into my Doublade, and I know the switch is very obvious, but it's the only play that I can make because I don't know if he has Quick Attack or not. So he ends up making the safe play by going for the Brave Bird, which still does a decent amount of damage to my Doublade, as I'm in a position where I can honestly just go for an Iron Head because I'm very positive that he's going to switch out, as he ends up bringing in the Regice. I am adamant max attack, and this is super effective. After Rocks and the fact that Regice doesn't have the best physical defense stat around, it just dies. There's nothing else to it. It just got O-code. So he's gonna bring in the Golem, and I was kind of worried that this Golem could actually be the Weakness Policy Rock Polish set. Wow, I can't believe I just said that. Weakness Policy set, and I end up going for the Shadow Claw, then Shadow Sneak, not wanting to go for the Iron Head to give him the Weakness Policy boost, as he ends up knocking me out with the earthquake. Unfortunately, now I lose the one thing to that swallow, although if he doesn't have quick attack, I can still sucker punch it. So I bring in my Vileplume. I am max defense, max HP, so I'm very, very positive I can live any one hit that he wants to go for, as I am able to barely live. Well, I want to say barely, but that earthquake still did a really good amount of damage in my opinion. I will be able to knock him out with the Giga Drain, which is really great because his last two Pokemon at this point are Swallow and Typhlosion. So it looks like the battle is honestly really in my favor because, as I said, as long as he doesn't have quick attack, I can easily get rid of the Swallow. So I'm just going to leave him my Vileplume for Death Fodder, as I end up misclicking on the bloody Sleep Powder. Ah, if I had Sludge Bomb, that would have been so great because I wouldn't have to worry about this damn thing anymore. But I honestly misclicked on Sleep Powder. But I guess if he had just Brave Bird, it really wouldn't have mattered what I went for. So that's a little bit odd that he did go for the Facade, but it's okay, seeing as now I will be able to bring in my Typhlosion. The reason why I did this is because I don't really need my Typhlosion. I can just fodder it off to the Swallow, get off the burn recoil damage, then bring in Sigilyph and fodder that off. But this this is where the valuable lesson comes in handy, guys. I bring in my Seismitoad thinking, okay, I've already won the battle. It doesn't matter what Luke does. I can fodder off Seismitoad, bring in my Shiftry on his Typhlosion, go for the Sucker Punch, and the battle is mine. So that's exactly what I'm going to do and what is hopefully going to happen. So he brings in this last, which is Typhlosion. I bring in my Shiftry. I go for the Stab Life Orbed Sucker Punch. He lived. And I died of Fire Blast. Yeah. Don't get cocky. That is the moral of this battle. Because if I had not foddered off my Seismitoad, I easily would have won. Oh, I don't know why I did that. I honestly should have just stuck to the plan, foddered off Sigilyph, then I would have had Seismitoad for Typhlosion, and just, yeah, that was really, really stupid on my part. That's never going to happen again. I can tell you that much. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy the battle. Luke actually did a live narration of this battle, so I'll leave a link to that down in the description, along with his YouTube and his Twitter, so make sure to go check him out. If you missed my previous Wi-Fi battle that is playing on your screen right now, there is an annotation, so go check that out. And with that being said, guys, I will see you all tomorrow, hopefully. So yeah, make sure to hit that like button, guys. As I said, if we can get 300 likes, that would be absolutely amazing. So I will see you all next time. Later, everybody.